So today in this video I'm going to be talking about what I do differently now versus a year ago. A year ago I made around £1,000 to £2,000 per month, and today I'm making around £8,000 to £10,000. So what's changed? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hi, my name's Simon. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller in the UK, and as I mentioned before, I'm on track this month to make £10,000. I'm already on 9,000, so not too bad. And I thought it would be good just to discuss exactly what I do differently versus like what I did a year ago. So let's get straight into it. So the first thing that I do is actually pass up on a lot of deals. I'm way more discerning when it comes to choosing a deal, and I'm spending more time looking for deals, passing up on those lower ROI items, aiming for higher ROI. So, 30% ROI is kind of where I'm aiming, but realistically, I'm looking to actually make much more ROI than that if I can. So just being a bit more discerning with deals. Another thing I'm doing is actually passing up on deals where I can only get a certain number of units. Now, when you become VAT registered, there's a little bit more admin involved when it comes to actually, making an order or transaction. So being, chasing the invoice and, reconciliation and things like that with your accountant. So, if I can only get 3 of a certain unit and I can only maybe make £3 per unit, I'm not really going to be buying that. I'll keep an eye on it if I can actually get more units in the future. But, for me, a minimum of maybe 10, 15, £20 profit I need to be making from a single order for it to be worth my while to even think about chasing an invoice and things like that. Now, yes, I can pass this on to an admin VA, and that might be actually a wiser choice, but obviously that brings its own headaches as well. So, and this obviously depends on what site I'm ordering from. Some sites you can just log into your your online orders and just download the invoice right away, so it's not too bad. So that factors into it as well, how hard or easy it is to get the actual invoice. And when I'm actually evaluating a deal, I'm looking way more deeply at the keeper charts. I'm looking at the entire history of the product. I'm looking at the year. I'm looking at the 3 months. I'm really trying to understand, why this product is at the price it is right now. Why has it suddenly become profitable? Is it just because the price has gone up on the listing temporarily, or is it just because there's a really good sale on for this from whatever website you're looking at? I'm trying to understand, how does this product, how does the price react to lots of sellers coming onto it? I'm looking at the yearly chart as well, just seeing exactly how this product is been going over the year in terms of price, and just trying to get a really good understanding of, if I buy this product, what I can realistically actually get for it. And when I'm actually evaluating a product, by the way, guys, I always look at the upside and the downside, and as long as that downside, I guess, is worst case scenario is break even, then I consider that like an okay downside. I'm obviously not buying stuff to break even, but when I look at the upside and downside, hopefully the upside's maybe 30, 40, 50% ROI, and the downside's 0% ROI, then I think you're pretty safe. Now, before we go on to the second thing that I do, I just want to mention my free Discord group. Guys, you should definitely join this. If you're looking to get into Amazon FBA, or you're already doing FBA, link in description. Come and join my free Discord group. Just a bunch of guys and girls hanging out, talking about Amazon. I answer all sorts of questions in there. So if you're, if you're an existing seller looking to get into Amazon, jump into that. It's a good Discord group. So the second thing I'm looking at more now is replens. So when I first started Amazon, I was always looking at the new shiny object, the new lead, and ignoring all the previous ones. But actually, what you should be doing is really understanding what items could be replens, and always looking back at your old deals and seeing if you can restock them. Now, it sounds so obvious, but actually, this is one mistake I've made, and I see a lot of people making this mistake. So I'm now always looking to see if this item can be a replen, and looking at my older deals as well, and trying to get a good number of replens going, because if you can get a bunch of replens going, let's say 5 or 10 every single month, that's going to give you like a base level of income. Maybe it's £1,000 a month just from your replens, and that way you're always making that £1,000, obviously, if they keep going, and you can build on the replens, but also you can then buy other products as well that might be just one-offs. So the third thing that I do, and I think this probably isn't advice that's used by a lot of people, but I actually look for items and categories that a lot of people are put off by. So I actually like bigger and bulky items that might put people off because they're obviously big and bulky. I look into categories that put other people off because maybe there's high returns, or there's been problems in that category, or there might be some sort of issue with shipping. Maybe it's a hazmat item, so it has different shipping requirements. So I'm always looking at where people are not, and that's actually been very successful for me, going into categories that people try and avoid. And the other thing I look for as well, again, I kind of go against the grain here versus a lot of people, but I actually really like lower selling items, even ones that only sell like 1 or 2 sales per month. Now, obviously depends on how many sellers are on there. If this thing sells only 1 a month and there's 10 sellers on there, I won't be jumping onto that. But what I actually quite like is lower selling items, but also the ones that have higher profit. So, it might be that only sells once per month, and maybe there's only one other seller on there. So realistically, that'd be 1 sale for every 2 months if I come onto that as well. But if I'm making £50 profit, for example, then I'm not too worried about it, and maybe 100% ROI. So that is something I actually look for. And, that by itself doesn't seem so great. Just one listing where you can get maybe 1 sale a month, let's say, not so great. But if you can get 50 of those, or 100 of those, or 200 of those, then suddenly that starts to add up, and then you've actually taken what is a 1 sale per month and you've multiplied that by, let's say, 100, and now suddenly you're doing 100 sales a month, that you've kind of like built up this the 100 sales a month from all these different 1 sale per month listings. So that's something that's worked very well for me as well, and one thing I've changed in my business. I'm obviously not passing up on fast opportunities, but I'm more looking at the opportunities that a lot of people don't look at. Now, before we get on to the next things, I need to talk about my sponsor, Profit Protector Pro. Now, Profit Protector Pro is a best-in-class repricer that I've been using now for around 2 months, and they've made me nearly £2,000 more profit versus my old repricer. So, amazing, basically. Now, the thing I love about Profit Protector Pro is that it's got firstly, it's really easy to set up. So versus old rule-based repricers, this is so much easier to set up and manage. But also it's got some really cool algorithmic strategies that you can use that are already pre-built for you, and you can basically assign the correct one to whatever listing you've got. So whether it's a listing that you're trying to maximize profit on, or maybe it's a listing you're trying to maximize sales on, they have 10 or 12 different algorithmic strategies that you can use and just select the correct one for whatever listing you've got. So if you want to sign up, guys, link in the description. It really is the best repricer I've ever used. So the fourth thing that I do now is, I guess, being less fearful of opportunities. And essentially what I do is if I find a good opportunity now, guys, I go deep on it if I can. So, as long as the sales are there, I'm looking to maybe stock up on 2, 3, 4 months worth of stock. Even if that's a little bit what you call an overstock. If I find a good deal, I'm going essentially all in on it. I'm buying pretty much as much stock as I can. But obviously I factor in the keeper charts and stuff like that and make sure that this isn't a tanky product. But yeah, I'm definitely going, when I find a good opportunity, going much deeper. And obviously when you first start out, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's actually a good advice, to be honest. And oftentimes when you first start as well, and even now, you wish you'd bought more of a product. A lead comes along your desk, along your desk, but you see a lead and you only buy 10 units or 20 units, and then it sells out really quickly, way faster than you ever thought. It makes more profit than you ever thought, and then you go and try and replenish it, and it's gone. So you're like, I really wish I bought more of those. And so now I try to avoid those situations by buying as many as I can these days. So that is one thing I'm definitely changing. But I think actually when you first start out, it probably is wise to not go too deep into a product, because you don't know as much as you do when you've been selling for a couple of years. You're not as good at reading the keeper charts and things like that. So you don't want to go too deep on a product and get it wrong, because that can be quite costly. So this is, I guess, a more experienced tip, I suppose. But and if you've got a great lead, by the way, just you can DM me on Discord fully confidentially, and I can give you my advice on it if you really want. If you're in my Discord group, So yeah, so that's one thing that's been a bit of a game changer for me. So the next thing I'm doing is thinking more about seasonal opportunities. Now, when I first started Amazon, the concept of seasons didn't really exist to me. Obviously I know about seasons, but I wasn't really thinking of it in terms of sales cycles and seasonality and stuff like that. Now, obviously there's Christmas, that's the obvious one, but there are actually so many different seasons and sales opportunities throughout the year that you can actually make a lot of money. There's Mother's Day, Father's Day, there's Christmas, obviously, Easter, back to school, obviously summer, winter, so Sunglasses sell very well in summer and do crap in winter. Sun cream does very well in summer but does not so well in winter. All these winter coats do very well in winter and not do so good in summer. So, and what you can find as well is oftentimes you can buy these items for quite cheap when they're out of season. And if you're willing to hold them and have the ability to hold them, the storage, the capital, and say the willingness to hold them, then you can actually make some really good money buying these things out of season. So that's something I'm definitely thinking more about now, is just like seasonal. And I guess one little bonus thing I'm going to mention here is that I'm thinking about Q4 like all year, because Q4 is where all the money's made. You can make your yearly salary in 1 month. Well, Q4 is 3 months, but in December, where that's the peak month, you can make a fortune. So I'm always thinking about, is this a good buy now? Can I hold this for December? Maybe I can make £5 now on this item, but I can make £25 in December. So, I'm willing to hold those items. Now, before we go on to my final 2 things, I want to just talk about a couple of giveaways I've going on. So get entering, guys, freebies. I've got 2 going right now. One's going to be ending in a couple of months. This is the Ultimate Amazon Starter Kit, and obviously I'll be showing you on the screen now. You get to win 2 label printers, 2 1-hour coaching sessions with me, and a bunch of other stuff in there. And the second one that ends on Monday the 27th of May is for a pair of Apple AirPods. So if you want to enter that, guys, and try and win a pair of AirPods, it ends in like 3 days. Apologies if you're watching this afterwards. To be honest, I'm always giving stuff away, guys, in my Discord group. So another good reason to join Discord. Anyway, if you want to enter those, guys, that would be awesome. So the 6th thing that I do now is I only source from like 2 or 3 main websites. Now, I do obviously source from other websites, and if an opportunity comes along, I will buy from other websites. But actually, one thing I've realised is you don't need to buy from 50 or 100 or even 20 websites. You can find 2 or 3 or maybe up to 5 core big websites where you can actually order quite a lot of stock. They give you invoices, they don't have any order limits, no hassles, and they've got profitable products. So you actually find, which goes against the grain of what people think when you first start, that you need to find some really obscure, unknown, underground website where you can get cheap deals. Maybe some people do that, but I certainly don't. I order from the big mainstream websites, and I'm able to do, OA from them. And that's one thing I never really thought about when I first started, and now I really do actually concentrate a lot on the bigger sites, and I order from them all the time. This year alone I spent over £100,000 on one website. No cancellation problems, no nothing, so it's been really good. The final thing is just being way more patient. Now, when I first started Amazon, in my first sort of 3, 6, 9 months, I thought I was the man. I jumped into the business. I started making pretty much £2,000 profit pretty quickly, to be quite honest with you, doing a lot of Amazon to Amazon stuff. And, I was making money, and my ROI was like 20%, 25%, and non-VAT. And I was thinking I was the man. I was doing really well. But you know what? I actually passed up on so much profit there. I was just really keen to get the sales in. But actually, what you find, the more you do Amazon, is the more patience is key to Amazon. And I guess I've coined this phrase, hold is gold. Holding products and just waiting for everyone else to sell out at the lower prices can make you so much money. And you realise this the more you do Amazon, that actually the best strategy is generally just to hold the items, especially one that's, you've got jumped onto a listing where there's lots of sellers have come on as well. Just be patient, wait 2 or 3 months, let everyone else sell out, and then you can make the big bucks. Especially if it's a product that's going to sell anyway, you may as well just wait if you've got the capital, of course. So that's something that's really been a game changer for me as well, and that's really pushed up my ROIs now. So yeah, my first year, I think my ROI was like 20, 25%. Non-VAT. Now I'm running at 50, 60% ROI being a VAT registered seller. So it's actually been a big game changer for me. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully you got some good nuggets of information from what I've just told you there. These are hard fought lessons for me over the past sort of 2 years of selling on Amazon. And yeah, just watch the video, and obviously hopefully you have watched it already. But yeah, there's some really good information there, guys, that should hopefully be a game-changing thing for your Amazon business as well. Again, guys, check out the link in the description for Profit Protector Pro if you want to sign up to that, and also my Discord group. And as always, guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one.